Hello, Nick McNulty here. In this little film I'm going to talk about a subject very dear to my heart, double stops. In itself the name, I've no idea where it came from, and I don't really quite understand how it works, but this is the name for using two notes on different strings in close harmony, playing them like a lead line, both at the same time. Very simply, here is a double stop using the 5th fret on the 1st string and the 6th fret on the 2nd string with fingers 1 and 2. The next one you would use after that probably might be this one. The 6th fret on the 1st string and the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And then slide it down again 2 frets towards you to the 10th fret of the 1st string, 8th fret of the 1st string and the 10th fret of the 2nd string. Very similar to Brown Eyed Girl. And you can duplicate that up here. That's a very simple double stop. They were used extensively in the 60s and in country music, very much so now. In fact, there's some classic country licks like this one, where instead of the 1st and 2nd string you use the 1st and 3rd string to create a slightly wider apart harmony, but again it sounds different. Again, just by accident more than anything, using the 1st finger again on the 5th fret of the 1st string, but put the 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. Now this will require a little bit of different technique. Hybrid picking, this is called, using the pick to pluck the 3rd string, but using your 2nd or 3rd finger, whichever you feel most comfortable with. I shall use my 2nd finger to pluck upwards on the 1st string. So I was playing the 5th fret on the 1st string and the 6th fret on the 3rd string, and then I slid the 2nd finger to the 7th fret of the 3rd string, but added my 3rd finger to the 7th fret of the 1st string, and then plucking down on the 3rd string and picking up with my 2nd finger on the 1st string. I then slid it 2 frets towards me, and then you can slide it back again. So there are 2 different types of double stops on 2 different strings. And they have an entirely different sound. A clever thing you can do if you wish to is to actually play the strings individually. That's kind of an obvious one there, but it does sound much nicer when you use it with the 1st and 3rd strings. So you can bring in an element of rhythm, and if you take it one step further and slide on the 3rd string, you can create that real sort of country effect there. And mixing and matching all of those really adds a bit of rhythm and individuality into anything that you might play using double stops. They can be used, of course, all over the guitar neck. Another lovely place to play them, particularly in rhythm, is on an A chord, because you can use your 1st finger over the 2nd fret of strings 3 and 2, using your pick to play both strings at the same time. Then if you put your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string and your 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, you can take it that stage further, or slide it 2 frets towards you again. A different variation of that. A classic situation where a band called Free in the 60s used it in All Right Now, and where Brian May uses this an awful lot in Queen songs, particularly Hammer to Fall, is to play the whole A chord instead of with the usual 3 fingers on strings 4, 3 and 2, splat your first finger over strings 4, 3 and 2 at the 2nd fret. You still get the A chord, but then that releases all of these fingers to be able to do anything you might particularly want to do. And Paul Kossoff and Brian May did this within rhythm. That's the classic riff to Hammer to Fall. All right now, with the great ingenuity of actually taking the first finger off and creating open strings which are suspended. Really, really nice. A very clever double stop. Really lovely. The Shadows did things like this in their early songs with the bass notes. They would go. That sort of thing in Foot Tapper, like that. So they will work in all sorts of different situations depending on how you want to use them. So it's worth finding out. If you can hear an idea in your head, try and work it out in the key that you're in to where you may be. It's more than likely, if you start with the 1st and the 3rd note, the 2nd and 4th note will be 2 frets apart as opposed to the 1st and 3rd, which are 1 fret apart, and then the 3rd and 5th will be 2 frets apart. Then when you go to the 4th and 6th, you're back to this situation, which is the same as the first one. So you have to work out your positions, and once you're comfortable with them, you can go wherever you wish.